Hello everyone, welcome to the Adurin region. I'm your host, Adurin himself. Welcome to something different. Now, I was planning on making a video about a modification of the Mega Meganium deck that I find really interesting that I think I'll probably push to next week. My reasoning for that is because of this article here on PokeBeach, which, by the way, if you want to check this out, you can do so in the description down below. Check out PokeBeach, they are fantastic, a great way of learning about what's happening in the TCG world, and this is talking about the pre-release promos for the Build and Battle set. Which is very, very exciting because, as you may know, this is something that I do on Wednesdays. I have the Build and Battle Ultimate Challenge, so I thought I would have a little bit of a sneak preview of the sneak preview itself, if you get what I mean. I'm excited to look into this. Now, I know what Pokemon they are. You can see them on the screen right here. There's a few more English cards that have been revealed. I'll talk about those. If you want to check out the other cards that have been revealed so far, you can do so through this link as well. That'll link to it. But I'm also going to zoom in a little bit because this is kind of hard to see. Actually, can I click on these? I can. I don't know why I'm zooming in. We'll zoom back out a little bit. So here we are. The pre-release promos for Perfect Order have been revealed, and you can see all four of them here. Now, I'm not going to go through and read everything word for word here, because you don't need that. But I think it's interesting that many of these were promos in the past, and now here they are. So let's go through each of them one by one, starting off with the Serperior line. Now, I, off the top of my head, don't know the Snivy and Servine line, but Serperior is the attacker, and I'm already trying to think of build and battle strategies with this. So this is the first time I'm looking at it as well, so hopefully you guys will allow me to read this a little bit. Serperior 160, it's stage 2, we know how it works there. For 1 grass, Regal Command does 20 damage for each free Pokemon in play. Maxes out at 120 for a single grass, that's pretty good. And then the other one is a 3 grass Solar Coiling, 100 damage. If Rosa's Encouragement is in your discard pile, this attack does 150 more. I'm going to look up what Rosa's Encouragement is off the top of my head. I'm assuming that's a Perfect Order card, because I can't remember it off the top of my head. Yes, this is a new supporter. It's on the screen right now. It is the following. I'm reading it off of my phone here. You can use this card only if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, so a late game thing. Attach up to 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to one of your stage 2 Pokemon. Interesting. That works really well. So late game, you have Serperior built up. You've got the 1 energy attack. You Rosa's Encouragement to put 2 grass energy from the discard onto this guy, and then Rosa's Encouragement is in the discard pile, meaning that this will do 250, which is pretty good, I think, all things considered. Of course, these are all going to be kind of scaled down to a certain extent because of the fact that these are all, single prize cards. But I find that really, really interesting. I think obviously anything grass is something I'm intrigued by, not only because I'm really fascinated by the grass deck, which you guys, I think it's on the screen. If not, I'll show it in a bit. But this deck, Nihil Zero is Perfect Union, by the way. Perfect Union has a grass energy card, which I find very, very interesting as well, because it's, actually, it's right over here. I'll show it off. This card here, Growing Energy, as long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides grass energy, and the grass Pokemon this card is attached to gets 20 HP. Obviously, hey, that's a plus. 20 HP more on anything can potentially get you by something interesting, and then more importantly, the fact that this is special energy means that it's a little bit easier maybe to search. I actually don't know, is it easier to search? You can search this guy, bonus points, etc. You know the gist. So that is Serperior. Let's move on to the next Pokemon, which is Barbaracle. Now, I've heard a lot about Barbaracle in conjunction with the Mega Zygarde conversation because of this ability here. So first off, Barbaracle, stage 1, 130. The ability, once during your turn, you can use the ability Stone Arms. Attach a basic fighting energy card from your hand to one of your fighting Pokemon. If you're running a fighting deck, you have the ability to now get multiple energies on a turn. Fantastic. Anything that can accelerate energies is obviously a great thing, and so while Barbaracle is probably not an attacker, needing 3 energies for 80, it is a great person to have on your bench so that you can move energies to Pokemon that really need it. So I'm thinking, obviously Zygarde has a lot of attacks that require a lot of energies, but even Lucario, 1 turn being able to get multiple energies on it to go straight into the Mega Brave move if you need it, I think that's a really good way of being able to boost this up. I think any fighting deck, I'm trying to think if there are any other ones that come to mind, which nothing pops up immediately. but this is a good ability for just any fighting deck that can really make some impact. I am intrigued about this. There's always one of the promos that I feel like makes a lot of noise. You know, Meganium obviously making some noise for its ability because it feels really, really good. Alakazam, actually, I think it's the same set, right? Is pretty good there. I enjoy the Toxtricity thing. I think that's also probably the best of that quartet, right? This is Toxtricity, Flygon, Zacian, and somebody else that I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, there's a few of these, and I think this one's probably the one that's going to be like the big competitive one. We've got Tyrantrum next, 180, evolving from Tyrant. It's a fossil Pokemon, which have historically not been particularly great. Tyrannically Gusty is its ability. If this Pokemon has any special energies attached, it gains 150 HP. That's pretty big, right? Special energies attached, which the fighting energy, I'll show that off in a second. There's a fighting energy, special energy that you can attach to this guy. So that would put you from 180 to 330 as a one prizer, which is not bad, I think. I can't even think of anybody that would be anywhere close to that. Stage 2, like Wailord is widely considered one of the bulkiest guys, so a regular Wailord I think is 250, 200, somewhere in the ballpark. So 330 is pretty big. And then its attack, Wreak Havoc, 160, flip a coin until you get tails. For each head, discard the top card of your opponent's deck. There are a lot of mill cards that Tyrantrum works with. Or just this fighting as a whole feels like a very mill-heavy deck, right? I know it's a dark type. I know Crocodile used to do a discard thing in the past. Tyrantrum, obviously. Flygon does that as well. There's probably a couple of others that I can't think of, but this is very, very interesting. So that is this. I'll actually show off the fighting energy that's in this set as well. You can see it here. The Rocky fighting energy, as long as it's attached, provides fighting energy. Prevent all effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to the fighting Pokemon this card is attached to. That's pretty good. Existing effects are not removed, damage is not an effect. That's always nice. It's a pretty defensive-oriented thing, which weirdly enough, I think Tyrantrum turns into a defensive Pokemon. Not what I think of, but big, bulky guy, this sort of energy to prevent effects, and then a mill deck as well. Flip a coin till you get tails for each head, discard the top card of your opponent's deck. That could be really funny in late game situations. I'm intrigued by this. Are both of these guys weak to grass, by the way? That's an interesting note. So both Barbaracle and Tyrantrum are weak to grass, meaning that I think of the four, Serperior is probably in the best spot just in terms of the build and battle competitive nature between the four of them. But, you know, Barbaracle is able to fuel up quickly, and then Tyrantrum is just bulky, so you would really need to have a lot of damage going through. Finally here, we have Doublade. Not Aegislash, but Doublade. Interesting. 100 HP, stage 1, and its weaponized swords is the attack, 60x. Reveal any number of Honedge, Doublade, and Aegislash from your hand, and this attack does 60 damage for each card you reveal in this way. If I remember correctly from reading through this, this is interesting. Doublade is actually resistant to grass, so that's an interesting note there. If I remember correctly, I think a lot of people had the conversation that Doublade is actually better than Aegislash, and I'd have to look up what Aegislash looks like. For those of you that are watching at home, you will see it on the screen any moment now. Here you go. If I am right, which I believe it is this one on the screen right here, which just has a 3 energy, 80 attack, and then Metal Slash for 230. During your next attack, this Pokemon can't use attacks. So it's almost wondering, I'm almost intrigued by this because it seems like the best way for this to work is to run a bunch of these guys and only play one of them, if that makes any sense. I don't think there's a way you can cheat out this middle stage the way that you could like a dark type with Grimsleys. But that's kind of funny. The idea is just build up your hand and reveal everything. I think if you are able to get, 4 or 5 of them, you're starting to do big damage. That'd be 240, 300. Yeah, so if you reveal 6, you knock out most things. If you somehow reveal 7 different items, 7 Honedge, Doublade, Aegislash, you'd be able to knock out basically everything in the game at that point. That'd be 420 damage, which is pretty good, I will say. This one's intriguing. I think this one's going to be intriguing on how you set this up, because it's almost like you need to build an entirely separate strategy in a way. I'm curious. We'll see how this works. A few other cards that are revealed as well. We'll talk about this. Shaman is here. Basic 70 HP. Send Flowers. Search your deck for an energy card. Attach it to one of your bench grass type Pokemon. Pretty good. Energy acceleration there as well. I think that's pretty standard. And Landorus over here, 120 basic. It's got a 52 fighting attack, where the attack damage is not affected by resistance. It's always a plus. And then Screw Knuckles, 120 with energy. Attach this Pokemon into your hand. If you have Barbaracle, that's not an issue. If you don't have Barbaracle, that feels like a slight consistency hit. But I think overall that's pretty interesting. We talked about the grass energy and the fighting energy, and here are the build and battle sets, the build and battle picture, the whole deal. I'm very excited about this. I'm curious to see how impactful these are in the metagame going forward. I think the Barbaracle is, if I had to pick a guess of which one of these makes the most impact competitively, I'm going to guess Barbaracle. If you're going to guess which one I'm going to be making videos about, it's either Serperior for competitiveness or Doublade because I find it funny. Either of which you could see on this channel in the future. Hopefully this was interesting. Again, links in the description down below if you want to read more about both this article or also discussion about the Perfect Order set. Again, it is Nihil Zero, the Japanese set that's been out for a few weeks now, I think. It's that set mostly. There's some things that are different. For example, some of these cards are promo cards in Chinese. But I think overall it'll be a really interesting set on how it works. With all these special energies that they're introducing in this Mega Evolution block, I'm curious to see how much they do going forward, especially with after Perfect Order, there's the Ninja Spinner set, I believe, that comes out afterwards. Intrigued in seeing how that works out. So that wraps this video up here. Shorter video, not really a whole ordeal here. We'll talk about that grass deck I built next week, presumably. That's the plan at least. Thank you everyone for listening, watching, and supporting in any way, shape, or form that you do. And until next time, take care.